You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the number one horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Well, good Monday morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek in Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening. I forget who I am. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Monday, November 18th, episode 3564, brought to you today by WERM Flooring. Good morning, horse people.
I have good news and bad news for you on this Monday morning. First, the bad. It's Monday. But the good news is really good. Jamie and Glenn are here to guide you through another week filled with horse talk and a whole lot of fun. Welcome to Horses in the Morning.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We have a fun show planned for you today. Elisa's going to be here, and she's going to explain the Data Driven Equestrian and how it helps bridge the gap between tradition and innovation in the equestrian world. There's a tough transition for a lot of people. Jared's going to join us from WERM Flooring, and he's going to answer Jamie's questions about the flooring she's having installed on her barn. Not her trailer, but her barn.
Yeah.
Plus, we have some equestrian first world problems. And then in the Auditor Post show, I asked an interesting question in the Auditor Room that got a ton of response. I asked the things that your non-horse friends just don't understand about your horse addiction. And we got some interesting answers I want to talk to you about. I also wanted to say that entries for voicemails for Radiothon are now closed. Thank you to everyone who submitted. We really appreciate it. Some really good ones. You guys are still very clever, a lot more clever than we are. And some of you can really sing. We got some poets, we have some songwriters, and we have some singers. Thank you all for that. You can still register to win all the prizes. Just go to holidayradiothon.com. If you haven't registered yet, just go there and sign up. It's real quick and easy, and you can win one of the $4,000 worth of prizes we're giving away that day. Time for some daily Whinnies.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Well, happy birthday to one of our terrific auditors, Charlotte Phillips. Happy birthday to you.
Ooh, I would like to thank all of the people that are hard at work in Oklahoma, sending out blasts of severe weather warning alerts at 4 a.m. That was really fun. So
Last night?
So when I can't sleep, I put on some earbuds and like a headband, and I sleep like listening to stuff. So I woke up, at like 2:30. I usually do put my little earbuds on and went back to sleep, the headband. And at 4 o'clock this morning, like my ears got blasted with like a weather warning. There was tornadoes at 3 a.m. in southwestern Oklahoma. I'm sorry. This never happens, they say. So at about 5 this morning, as I'm watching it roll in, I have to head down, bring all the horses in, and get everything ready and prepped. I knew there would be rain, but I didn't know it was going to be severe. They canceled school for Anna. Yes, Lucas had to go to school today because at about 7:30 this morning, it all passed. And we just have rain now, but all the severe stuff left. Thank goodness, no major issues at our farm or anything like that. But I have now not slept.
I'm looking at the radar. It's like this long, narrow strip of storms. And
it goes all the way to Mexico. Yeah. This line of storms all the way up through
all the way
Oklahoma.
up to like North Dakota. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And so there were some tornadoes in southwest Oklahoma, I think 6 this morning, but nothing major, they're saying. But brought all the horses in. And I would really like to give a honorable mention, Daily Winnie, to the mule that I have here in training who doesn't like people at all. And I'm like, hey, she lives in a little paddock outside the barn, but the barn is attached. So it's 5 a.m. It's raining. There's lightning. What could possibly go wrong? So I'm like, hey, I need you to go in the stall. So I have to go around the backside of the barn and open the Dutch doors so she walks into the stall. But she won't go into the stall with me standing outside in the back. So then I have to walk to the inside of the stall. And so she comes in the stall. And I'm like, cool. So I walk around to the back to close the Dutch doors and she runs out. Okay, so I have to walk back from inside of the barn.
You can leave her out. Mules are immune to lightning and stuff.
I did that 3 times, Glenn. 3 times. I had to walk to the outside. She goes in. I walk to the inside. I go back out to close the doors. Boop, she runs out. So I was like, you know what? Good luck to you, sister.
Mules don't get hurt. Tornadoes, whatever.
I had to close the doors because it'll flood my barn. The rain will come in sideways. So I was like, good luck, honey. And I threw some hay out in the rain. And
think about all the tornado movies you've ever watched. There's always a cow in the tornado. There's never a mule.
I know. You know what, though? I thought she wants to survive this like her ancestors.
That's right.
She's like, I don't need. And then, of course, I have this Chincoteague pony. Bless his heart. He's
they
just
truly do
thing.
survive in the wild.
And he'll be fine. But like, not on my watch. Okay. Like, he doesn't live in Oklahoma. So I'm like, I've got to get him in. But he's a little bit touchy, like Miwok. You can catch him, but he's kind of sensitive about putting the halter over his head. And it's like lightning and it's raining. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I just take a bucket of feed and I'm like, come here, Gene. And I make him follow me because I can't get a halter on him in the rain, lightning, and all that. And he was just like totally freaked out. And so I get him to follow me into the bar. Again, 5 a.m. people. 5 a.m. I am in no mood for this. And so anyway, they're all in. Gene is tucked in the stall out of the rain. And the mule is, you know what, just
playing in the rain.
Singing to the skies her song.
There should be a rule about not having bad weather at night. Why do tornadoes always come at night and hurricanes always come at night? They always come at night.
I don't appreciate any of it, but at least but like I said, if I wouldn't have had those earbuds on, it would not have woken me up because my phone was on silent, but it wasn't on silent when I had the headband on. So it was just like blasting me in the brain.
Won't weather alerts override that anyway and still play? Or if your phone's on silent, they won't play?
Chats didn't go off. So only in my headband did it go off. And of course, did I have to jump up and I'm like, hey, I got to go to the bar. And then like I getting everything ready. And then they send on the email, school's canceled. And he's like, okay. And I go down the bar and I come back up like 2.5 hours later. And he walks out and he's like, good morning. Are we getting weather? And I was like, you son of a bitch. He was like, where have you been? I'm like, I just got back. He's like, he said, you going to bring the horses in? I'm like, you mother, oh my God. I was like, he was like, you should wake me up. I'll come help you. And I was like, I did wake you up. So that's been my morning. Super fun. Yay.
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna go to our guest next, but I want to find out about your clinic you talked about on Friday that you did over the weekend with your neighbor Patty, and also the pony. You got a Chincoteague pony, and I want to hear about that too. So we'll do that a little bit later in the show. But first, you're getting a new floor put in your barn because your concrete floor is getting slippy, and we all know how I feel about that after Jennifer's accident. So we're having a guest on to talk all about it. His name's Jared, and he is the guy that got us started with WERM Flooring as an advertiser, and you got your trailer done.
He's the big guy.
Yeah. So we're going to give him a call because I want to know how it's different than doing it in the floor of your trailer, and you have some questions too. So let's call him.
I'm giving him a bunch of money to do this. So I want to know, is it going to last? Like how do you take care of it? Some questions like that. So anyway, let's get him on the phone.
Are you getting pretty pink? You getting pink?
Hot pink, baby. Hot pink. Well, here he is. We've got Jared from WERM Flooring. Jared, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Now, you're up in Oklahoma City, and I got a message that you guys were delayed on your opening. Did you guys get any of the fun weather?
Really just the rain so far. All the major stuff looks like it's past us, thankfully. So
I know.
Nothing so far.
Fantastic. Yeah, we all got pretty lucky. Well, hey, so one of the things, I mean, obviously I found y'all and I got WERM Flooring in my trailer and I absolutely love it. And it is just the most amazing peace of mind, I think, that I could have done for my trailer. So recently I have a barn with a concrete floor, and it's about 5 years old, and it was scraped, so it wasn't the smooth concrete. But as the horses have come in and out, it started to get a little slick. So I started doing some research, and, the main thing people do is the pavers or the rubber mats in the barn. And I was like, I don't want to do rubber mats. So I called WERM to see if you guys do barn flooring, and apparently you do.
Yeah, absolutely. We do. Yeah, in addition to the trailers, we do, tons of different types of really any kind of, it can be concrete or asphalt or wood, type surfaces. But yeah, we do lots of barn floors just for the reason you mentioned. And it's not just specific to aisleways. I mean, you can do stalls and obviously lots of wash racks and tie rooms, always, of course, anywhere that there's a chance for an animal to, slip, or you got mats or anything like that. So absolutely, we do probably a barn or some sort of what we call job, at least once or twice a month, anywhere, could be all over the U.S.
Yeah. So one thing I've seen is you guys do a lot of the floors in vet clinics. And when I was researching, like Remington Park, the track near us, has pavers in their paddock. And one thing I was told is like they have to replace them all the time because they just wear down. And then obviously I don't want to move rubber mats. So what are some of the benefits of having WERM flooring in my barn aisle versus the other things I looked at?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, over rubber mats, of course, is just the fact that those things, slip and slide all over the place. And, you have to, if you're going to clean under them and that sort of thing, things can get under them, whether it's hay or shavings, and of course, all the other stuff. So those things just slide around, cause tripping hazards, just a pain. Really with the pavers, those things are pretty good product. I know the systems, it's, pretty entailed, difficult to put them in and things like that. But from what I can tell, those last, another pretty solid product out there. I guess with the WERM flooring, it's, you got options of lots of different colors, and really you don't have to worry about with the WERM flooring, the urine doesn't necessarily seep through. Different system with the pavers, essentially it seeps through, and then there's a channel underneath where it flows out. With WERM, everything stays on the top because it's a non-porous product. Of course, then you would just need to, ideally, have a way to power wash or have some drains or something like that, to bring it down to the side to the drains.
Well, when I was talking to your amazing staff, I said, as far as having the horses come in and out all the time, because every once in a while one gets out and they trot through the barn aisle or whatever. I said, is it going to last? And she mentioned to me that you guys have now started doing exotic animal barns. And when I said, what kind of exotic animals, it was like you guys were the reason you couldn't do it last week was because you were on a job installing flooring for a rhinoceros rescue.
Yes. So, we've done different rhino barns. This is our, several different customers we've done for now. But yeah, this one is a pretty good size one. This one, it's our third rhino barn we completed. Each one was about 4,000 square feet. So, and we've had some down in Tennessee. We've done 4 for some other guys, but rhino barns. Even we did the Oklahoma City Zoo new safari exhibit for the giraffes there. So I mean, you're getting some big, heavy animals on there. Even heavier than your horse and cattle that you're typically people are using WERM for.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, well, if they can withstand rhinoceros feet, I'm sure they can handle a horse trotting through every once in a while. So
right.
How many, I didn't know that there were like so many rhinoceros rescues in the United States, central, southern United States.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of it is different, possibly breeders or things like that. I'm not sure exactly what all the different things they are doing behind the scenes, but we've if people need help with their animal slipping, we've done lots of deer barns as well, and just any kind of animal that has hooves that is going to have the potential to slip on hard slick concrete.
So I kind of understand how it sticks to aluminum. How how does it, I mean, is it a stick to the concrete as much as it does your horse trailer floor? Do you have to do something different?
Yeah. So no, generally if we got like a new construction, we ask them to just do a broom type finish because what a lot of people
that just
don't
means it's a little rougher.
realize-
It's not slick. Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize how porous concrete actually is. It'll sit there and absorb water and things like that. So as long as the floor is not sealed or slick or polished, which we've actually surprisingly we've had some horse barns that for whatever reason, they said, hey, let's put this slick polished,
Why would you do that?
floor on it. And then they're like, wait a minute, this is really, really slick. We need something. So we had to go in on top of that stuff. But yeah, ideally if it's just a broom finish type floor or if it's existing, that stuff will actually, the binder will go in and bond really well, to the concrete. Actually probably better than even aluminum just because, it has something it can truly get down into.
Well, I'm super excited to get it done in the barn. I'm just fed up with. Glenn's wife had a horse slip on concrete and fall on her. It hurt her.
Yeah.
Almost killed her. And then recently I had a pony slip and like an idiot, I was like, I'll catch the pony before it hits the ground. And that was really stupid as well. Don't do that. So having you guys has up an option and the fact that you're so close, but you guys do have manufacturers and dealers all over the countries for anybody listening. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. We have, and you can find that on our website at WERMFlooring.com. That's, of course, WERM, because we always remind people that actually stands for something that's We Eliminate Rubber Mats. So that's why a lot of times people say, what does that WERM stand for? What is that? So that's We Eliminate Rubber Mats. So WERMFlooring.com. We have a link that can show all the dealers we have. We actually have dealers in the U.S. and Canada and even in Australia.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, I'm looking at the map right now. You're everywhere. So I do appreciate that. And I thank you so much for coming on. We're going to figure out something, Glenn, to do really cool. Like, I don't know, like a time lapse video or something to give us some ideas of what we can do to show everybody kind of like you putting in the flooring. I think it'd be fun. I mean, the time lapse video, heck, I mean, sometimes those take, a minute and a half. So who knows?
Yeah. Sounds great.
That'll be fun. Well, Jared, thanks so much for joining us. And I'm glad neither one of us got crushed by the storms this morning.
For sure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jared. Confidently address your horse's unique weight needs and help optimize their overall well-being with research-proven Purina animal nutrition feeds. Designed by passionate equine nutritionists. Partner with Purina to nourish your horse to their optimal body condition. Explore weight management resources for your horse today at purinamills.com/feed-finder. That's purinamills.com/feed-finder. And now coming up next, we have Elisa, who is with the Data Driven Equestrian. And we're going to find out what that's all about. She is a biologist, and she comes from it from the scientific point of view. Looks at the world that way, and especially the equine world that way. So we're going to find out how that's different and what she's up to. Well, hi, Elisa. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
So tell me, what is the Data Driven Equestrian?
So, long story short, the Data Driven Equestrian is an educational platform that I started mainly on Instagram. So basically, I was going through some pretty complicated stuff with my mare that I bought. She was 2 years old. And I just had to really be independent in the information that I was going to get and trying to figure out all this lameness mystery that was going on. And as I was going through that journey, I kind of figured that, or I kind of, explored a lot of the equine science part of it. And I saw that there's a lot of people that are like me that, have these horses, don't have any answers to the problems that they're having. And all the answers are in complicated scientific literature. And having a science background, I kind of took it upon myself to, dig deep in that scientific literature and kind of translate it for the everyday horse owner and equine professional. And that's how the platform started.
And you're a biologist, right?
Yeah, I'm a biologist by training. While I was going through all this stuff with my mare, I went to do a course in equine bodywork. And that's kind of how I delved into the equine science part of it.
So what makes what you do So I love the statement that you have about science versus tradition, right? Because the horse world's very traditional in how it does things, and a lot of what horse people learn, they learn from their parents, who learn from their parents, who learn from their parents, and yet you're taking it kind of to the data side of things. So what have you found? What are some of the major disconnects from science and tradition?
Yeah, so I think that was one of the big problems that kind of drove me down this path, is that it's a lot of what your grandfather, your grandmother taught you, and, trainers passing down theories from generation to generation. And I think that equine science is kind of sparse right now. It's getting a lot of popularity, but I think that it's not very accessible for a lot of people. And because of the fact that it's written mainly in scientific terms, and it's in, published articles that are not accessible or behind a paywall. So I think people depend a lot on what their environment or what their entourage is telling them to do, because that's the only thing they have access to. And so, that's one of the biggest problems that I've seen, is that no one really has an evidence-based rationale, but behind what they do, the actions that they pose, or the methods or protocols that they apply to whatever they're doing with their horses. And so these are the resources that we really need to put forth to kind of, build that bridge between the gap that exists between tradition and evidence-based information for horse owners.
Can you give us an example of something you looked at recently, one specific topic that you looked at recently?
Sure. So this is super controversial, but I'm really looking...
I love it. Bring it. Whatever it is, I'm in.
So everything that has to do with it's a little complicated. But biomechanics is something that I've been digging into lately. And, I realize how incredibly complex it is. And we have this theory that's called the string and bow theory that kind of explains how the top line and the core of the horse interacts with the horse's movement. And this theory is directly applied to how we train horses in training aids. And I think that there's a huge misconception around what training aids actually do. And so I kind of went down that route and realized that training aids are probably far from efficient in doing what we think that they do and how they're marketed, first of all. So that was something that really boggled my mind, just, finding how different our perception is of these tools that we use that are so normalized in the equine industry.
Like what type
the
of
literature
tools?
says. So let's say anything that constricts the head and neck. So we know that head and neck position is very important when we're talking about biomechanics and how the horse uses its body.
So extrinsic training methods, like aids and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like side reins or the Pessoa system and stuff like that. So any training aid that's going to constrict the horse's head and neck movement will have huge implications on how the horse uses its muscle and its body, not to mention symmetry and balance as well. And so when you're looking into the literature that really aims on dissecting what goes on in a horse's locomotion throughout the whole entire stride of the horse, then you realize that we're probably doing more harm than good when we're using these, especially when we're not using them properly, which most of the time is how they are used.
Yeah, so I one of my favorite quotes from Monty Roberts is, it's mainly the hands that hold it, and I guess in that thought process, it would be, are people using them in a less than beneficial way? And I think so very often that's interesting that you picked that up and you're doing that, because I totally think 100% I agree with that.
Yeah, I think the fundamental knowledge that we have of horse locomotion needs to be maybe rehandled a little bit, just put some, refined a little. I think that some of the theory is really good, but I think that we simplified it too much in hopes of having it more accessible for trainers and riders. But I think it needs to be reviewed and maybe just tightened up a little mm-hmm. so that we don't have the wrong idea of how we're using this to train our horse.
You also have a podcast that you started. It's called the Equiscience Podcast, and you're a few episodes in. I was looking at some of the topics you covered in there. The double bridle, there's one. Half pads, something that probably most people use all the time. Don't even think about it, right? And
no, exactly.
So I love the fact that you're taking a look at these from a science point of view. We have this thing we call Studies Show on the show here, where we kind of make funny of the silly studies that they spend a lot of money on that we already know the answer to. But there's been a lot of really good studies done recently in the horse world. I think that we're actually seeing more in the horse world than we've seen before, involving the horse and how all the things that we do affect the horse. So I think you're getting in at a good time, actually.
I love this. Where can I find this podcast? I want to hear all of your opinions, and I want to hear. I love that somebody else out there is like, you know what? I might get feedback on this, but I don't care. I'm just going to say my truth, almost.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to argue sometimes when it's actually a proven fact, when you're doing science and
I think we learned this year that people will argue about anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that is a fact. But for me, it's not like you say, it's my opinion, but it really isn't. I'm just kind of talking to these scientists that are behind closed doors and, are testing these, and they're not trainers. They're not avid equestrians. They're not, influencers. They're just scientists that are in a lab, and they have a topic, and they want to test these things, and it's that bridge between those scientists and the everyday equestrian. How do we use this newfound knowledge to fix the equine industry and, set new standards for equine welfare? And that starts with, testing stuff and doing experiments and seeing how the horse reacts. And, I think that the biggest thing that I've learned during this podcast and speaking to all these scientists is that, you could test all these things all day long as much as you want. And I could tell you probably which saddle pad is the best that you could get on the market. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how your horse likes it, how your horse is reacting to it, and if your horse is comfortable in that situation, then all of it is for nothing, So we have as well as all the science that's coming out, we also really need to be able to interpret our horse's state of mind. Yeah, and just, know what your horse's baseline is, and know when you're doing something, is your horse acting out of sorts? Is he happy about what you're doing? I mean, that's kind of the holy grail of equine science, is knowing how to make your horse more comfortable in a certain environment and situation.
So I train horses and donkey. I've got a mule in training. I got a pony in training. I have all sorts of stuff that comes. And, we have a plan for each one at the beginning of the day. But one thing I tell students, I'm like, you have to just read your horse. Read your animal, have a plan, don't fall in love with it. Like, you need to see what the horse is telling you, and you're backing that up with science. So often, I've been a little cagey because so often I post things online and I will get, people telling me how I'm doing it wrong. And I'm like, you don't understand that I have to read the horse and figure out what the horse is telling me that day, and that particular horse in that particular situation and scenario. So good for you for backing it up with science. I'm going to start being like, well, listen, you go listen to her. She's going to tell you.
That's a lot of pressure. But I think, at the end of the day, when you're trying to go, when you're trying to put forth something new, I think it's very confronting. It gets really emotional for a lot of people. I mean, I think that I don't have kids, so maybe I shouldn't make this comparison, but I think it's kind of trying to tell people how to better raise their children.
I think it's exactly like that.
It's murky waters. Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of on, it's tricky. It's very, very tricky when it comes to horses and trying to haul the entire thinking behind how we view ourselves as equestrians. It could get pretty intense for sure.
Hey, let me ask you.
God forbid I post a video of a horse just not trailer loading where I tried to teach it to trailer load. Oh, here's what you need to do. My granddaddy told me that you feed them in there.
It's a broom. You just need a broom.
Until it gets in there, you boom, put a rope behind it, or just take a whip or whatever. And you're just like, oh my God, stop talking.
Elisa, do you have thick skin?
You
have thick skin. You're going to need it for this, for the quest you're on.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that even with the Instagram, and I haven't even done Facebook yet because I know Facebook is the worst, but even on Instagram, like everybody loves to give their opinion about how to train horses, how to manage horses. And, for me, I'm in a position where I'm just like, well, if you don't agree, go read this study. I mean, everything I'm saying is
bitches.
study.
Science,
Just
bitches.
go, exactly. Just go read. If you don't agree, take it up with the scientists.
Remember one thing, Elisa, as you go down this podcast journey. We've been doing this for 15 years now. And one thing you learn is that, and I learned this a long time ago when I had an acting company, 80% of the people will like what you do, 20% will hate it no matter what you do. So keep that in mind, all right?
And 10% of those will be very vocal.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had a nice little proof of that in the past year. So, you get used to it.
And you will. You'll continue to get it. Hey, where are you located anyway? I forgot to ask you.
I'm in Montreal, Quebec, in Canada.
Oh, cool. Very good. Well, it's the datadrivenequestrian.com, and you can find the Data Driven Equestrian on any podcast player. Just search for that, and you'll find the podcast. She has a few episodes out and now going strong. So, well, congratulations. And
this is my new favorite podcast already. I'm following it right now.
And good luck with it. We appreciate you being on. Thanks, Elisa.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
When it comes to equine health, Cosequin Joint Health Supplement didn't just enter the arena, they built it. World-renowned riders like Philip Dutton, Will Coleman, and Julie Goodnight trust Cosequin for their horses. The high-quality, scientifically researched ingredients found in Cosequin products range to support joint, digestive, hoof, and immune health, the areas most impacted by performance horses. Top riders give their horses the best, and that's why when performance matters, they choose Cosequin. With over 30 years behind the Cosequin name, you can rely on Cosequin products for when performance matters. To learn more, visit Cosequin.com.
All right, so you did this clinic over the weekend, jumping clinic. Which horse were you jumping?
I took Ace to his first ever clinic.
And which one is that
lesson.
again? The Andalusian, the
Ace is a 5-year-old thoroughbred. So he's kind of the sports horse, and the Andalusian is kind of the sports car. He's kind of chubby and he's just fun.
Station wagon.
He's a station wagon. Ace is a sports car. But yeah, so I took him out to a clinic with a woman named Mary Darcy, and she's Irish, and she coached the Irish Olympic team. She's coached Pan Am Games. What the hell she's doing coaching people over crossrails in Oklahoma is, I don't know, but I took advantage of it.
A hotbed of eventing.
Yes. Actually, there is a ton of eventers right here in this vein. I think she lives in Texas, so she just comes up here and does the clinic. She that's what she does. She just clinics. And her ability to read the horse and understand the horse and the rider, she said a couple things to me I feel like you've done a little bit of the inside rein to outside rein, inside leg to outside rein. And I was like, yes. And she was like, okay. Well, and then she would explain why that wasn't working for me. And then she's like, basically, I needed to not do so much, do less. I like to hear do less, but I will also tell you that I was pretty excited, and she kind of whispered it to me a couple times, and I wish she would have said it louder so I could record it and make it my ringtone. But she said to me 3 times, "You have done a really nice job with this horse. You have done." I was like, oh, I just won the lottery. It was such a cool compliment. She even used him as a bridal demo, how you can bend and get your horses soft in the jaw because he's so lovely and supple. So basically, I need to do less, and apparently my right side of my body is way stronger than my left side. My left side is perfect and soft, and my right hand is too much. So we worked on kind of evening me out, and what a dramatic difference it made for Ace and the way he was moving. Yeah. All of a sudden I was like, oh, that's a new horse. I was like, that's fun. And we jumped him stuff. And I mean, the clinic was 2 days. It's supposed to be Saturday is show jump and Sunday is cross country. And he's 5 and he's probably jumped, 7 times in his life. I just thought that would be a little too much. So I only did the 1 day, but Patty Otto, one of our auditors, she was in my group. We had a lot of fun. And then she also did the next day. And I think that went very well for her too. So it was really, really fun. And I'm super happy to have done it. And I can't wait till she comes back. I think she's coming back in February. So I'll sign up for that one.
Was she one of those that was really tough, or was she just kind of laid back and
Neither. She wasn't super tough or mean, but she was like, no BS.
No
like,
BS. Well, that's
I
Irish,
told
right?
you to turn left here. Like, why are you not turning? Where are you going? Like that kind of stuff. But it was like reasonable because there's 4 of us. So here's the fun part is Saturday morning, I woke up and it was like 48 degrees outside. And Patty and I had the very first lesson of the morning. And as soon as we got on the horse, the Oklahoma wind pickup, and we're up on top of a hill. I was like, I'm sorry, did you put the baby horses and the baby riders up on top of a hill when it's still cold outside and there's gusting wind? Awesome. What could possibly go wrong? It was awesome. But everybody chilled out. I mean, it's 2 hours long. They can't be stupid for 2 hours. But I will tell you, Mama's sore. I'm a little sore. Not gonna lie. Oh,
yeah, that's
God.
one of the things you said is I don't think I can stay on a horse for 2 hours. And you did have to stay on a horse for 2 hours. 2
hours. And she doesn't shortchange you. I mean, it's expensive and you get every minute, every minute of it. And I was like, I'm cool. Like, are we done? Like, no, jump it again. Okay, great.
And then you also, I wanted to find out, you got a Chincoteague pony in for training from one of our listeners, Tara, who I'm going to throw her under the bus because I can.
I wasn't going to say
she
a word
brought
about
it up.
this.
She called me out on the Facebook page and said on the way in, she may have accidentally took out your gate. Now, was it the new gate or the one you're replacing?
It's the one that was fine. It was the one we were keeping.
Oops.
So yeah, I would have had her go in the other one. It's a bigger, wider gate, but I didn't expect her to bring a Chincoteague pony in a 4-horse living quarters slant load, ginormous 900-foot long trailer.
So I know which gate she went in then.
Yeah, all you have to do is come in straight, but she kind of like came in and then like she turned left in and then kept turning left and then kind of took out. And you know, I have those little signs that say "Do not enter without appointment" on the outside of my gate. They're like custom made signs. That's gone. Yeah. that's long gone. But the cool thing is,
Did it do more damage to your gate or the trailer?
Oh, well, we did have to get a tire iron out to get her from being wedged
Tara's
against her tire. I wasn't going to say a word, Tara. You did it. But she immediately compensated me, which I was definitely not have asked because I do stuff like, I mean, I was telling her on the Facebook page, I hit a parked trailer at the vet clinic this summer. And of course, and I drove off and I didn't even know I hit it. And I get home and I'm like, why is there a light on my wheel well? So I called the clinic. Turns out on my way out driving, I crushed the vet's trailer.
Oh, that's good. I mean, that always makes the vet happy.
Yeah, we've all done stuff. And they were like, thank you for calling because we knew it was you.
There isn't one of our trailers that doesn't have a dent from a tree branch in the top. I mean, we've all had that.
Yeah, I know. And like I said, I wouldn't have said a word, but she brought it up and then told you. And of course, you're going to bring it up. So
everybody that knows, they tell me it's going on the show. That's just all right. Let's talk about the pony she brought. So this was has she handled it? This Chincoteague pony? She got it a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah, she got it. She got it off I think one of the first internet auctions that they did with the ponies during COVID. And so she got him when he was about 6-7 months old, and he's 4 now. Yeah. He's a baby. And so he's 4 and she's done a lovely job. I mean, he's still a wild pony, you can halter him if you do it the way that he likes, and he leads and he picks up his feet and he's good for his feet being trimmed and all that. But oh my God, he's so stinking adorable. But what's really cool is I've had a rash and Farm Boy has concurred with this. We've had a rash of abuse cases come in where you have to extra prove the point that you're not going to hurt them. And it's like a green horse or a wild horse, when you show them something and it's okay, they're okay with it. If it's an abused horse and you show them something and it's okay, you have to show them that exact same thing about 600 more times before they think it's okay. So it's really nice. This pony's moving so quickly. I mean, day 1, I got a surcingle on him. Day 2, we got a saddle on him and we put the boots on. It's raining now, but I actually realized, I think yesterday I probably could have got on him. He wouldn't have known where to go or how to turn, but I could have got on him. He'd have been fine because we proved to him that it was okay. So we're really excited to have him because first of all, he's a super nice mover. He's stinking cute.
He is stinking
and
cute.
he learns like really quickly. And I know Tara was like, I just really want to know what you think of him. And I really think you got a good one. We're all quite fond of him. And Anna is just, oh my God, he's so cute. I love him so
He's
much.
Anna's size.
He's so tiny, so cute little thing. Oh, he's very nice.
You'll be lucky to get him back, Tara.
Yeah. Might have to keep this one. I love him.
Well, good. I'm excited to hear
I've
more
got
about how he's
another-
doing.
Well, yeah, since I have the mule and this pony, I've already got another Chincoteague pony booked for the spring. And I had 2 people ask me if they could send me their mule. No.
One mule at a time, please.
Stop it. People, I don't want to be the mule and Chincoteague pony whisperer. Okay, that's not my business model. I'm just here to help.
All right, well, let's go find out if there's any problems in the equestrian world.
It's time for the weekly look at your equestrian first world problems. This ought to be good.
I feel like it is, of course, always really sad problems that our listeners are dealing with. And so what I do is on Sunday, I go into the Facebook page for the auditors and I ask them, what's sad in your life right now, basically, and they will share. And so if you want to participate in this segment, you have to become an auditor, which has a lot of cool stuff associated with it, not just this. But Glenn, how would they do that?
Just go to horseradionetwork.com, scroll down in the middle of the page, and you'll see an auditor banner. And for as little as donation of $3 a month, you too can become an auditor.
And that money goes to support the host and the network.
Yeah, Jamie gets a part of that money.
Come on, baby, make it rain. Yeah. Sharon says that the weather is finally delightful and I've started consistently riding and driving my horses. But it's supposed to rain for 7 days straight later this week, and I don't have a covered arena. God.
Jamie appreciates you
what?
right now as it's pouring down rain at her house.
If I won the lottery, we'd all have covered arenas. They would interview me with that giant check and they would be like, what are you going to do with your $40 million? And I'm like, everybody gets a covered arena. That's what I would do. I would do it for you
Oprah of
people.
the horse world.
You get a covered arena. You get a covered arena. You get a covered arena. Everybody does. That's what I would do. Julia says, oh my God, this pony is super cute. I'm like infatuated with ponies right now. She said, my neighbors got a super cute pony for their kids. And now I kind of want one for my kids. I want one too. Margaret says, my best friend and riding buddy moved to a different barn. And I'm the only other working stiff. So I have to ride alone at night, all by myself in the big indoor arena. Shut up, Margaret. Nobody feels sorry for you. I would love to ride alone in a giant indoor arena every night. Yeah. Perspective. Okay. Lindsay says the horse therapy barn where I volunteered for 8 years is shutting down, but I'm taking one of the horses home with me. It looks like Taco Tuesday. She posted a picture of this little pink.
I don't know if that's an
really
equestrian
cute.
first world problem. That's just a congratulations right there.
Yeah, congrats. Allison, I spoke to her over the weekend. There was a dressage show here in Norman the same day as the clinic, so I didn't get to participate, but like everybody I know went to this dressage show, and she said, I just wrapped up my first horse show and it was incredible. I came home with ribbons and a new obsession. I'm already thinking about shows in the spring, but my husband is still recovering from the sticker shock of this one.
I was just going to say.
Allison, let me talk to your husband right now. Dude, in the world of horse shows, that was the cheapest horse show you will ever see ever in the history of the world. So you better start saving your pennies because she and I are going to start showing together. I know. But again, an Oklahoma local dressage show in Norman is nothing compared to like a USDF show.
Yes. We have to pay for stalls at $50 a day and bedding. Yeah, and all that crap.
Allison and I are hitting the road.
And they're 25 hours away.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to spend all winter in Florida, obviously. Rena says, I need a new cross-country watch, and they don't make them in turquoise, only stupid primary colors.
It is true. It is true.
They
used to only make them in that yellow.
Yeah, God, I hated that yellow, but I had one. Now I've got a green one. So is that primary? I don't know. I don't think so. Caitlin says, I bought a new horse trailer at Equine Affair last week. Yay! But now I have to wait like a whole nother week for it to be delivered.
That is hard.
Carrie said, oh, Carrie, shut up.
That was the biggest purchase that I've heard about from our listeners at Equine Affair.
Oh, yeah. It's really pretty, too.
That
it
one
has like
has
one
to
of those
win.
front escape doors. Yeah. Carrie says, I am heading to the Virgin Islands this week for work, so I can't play with my new horse.
Oh, well, there's a toughie right there.
I'm going to get an expense paid trip to the Virgin Islands. You know what? First world problems just makes me hate you people. Jane, I get this. I'm moving my horse to my trainer's barn this weekend, and he's going to get the most amazing care, and I'm so excited, but my wallet is not.
A lot of money ones this time.
Yeah, and then Mel. This one is, I think, the winner for today. Poor Mel. If you can hear the tiny violins. This is the last one.
I need to get tiny violin music for the for the
Yes.
winner every week.
Put that
Write
on
that
the
down.
list.
Tiny violin music. Okay.
I stayed. I got to get it out. I stayed too long in the tanning bed, and now I have to wait a couple of days to ride because my pink legs. She sunburned her thighs.
That's not a question. First world problem right there.
And I'm out. Mic drop.
You know, I always wondered
my
about
God, I'm
tanning
crying.
beds. You see tanning beds here in Florida, and I go, just walk
Why?
outside, people. Just,
Why are you doing that?
Just walk
I had
outside.
I had seasonal affective disorder when I lived in Kentucky because it was so cold and snowy, and I would go to the tanning bed and it would just make me feel better. But I can't imagine doing it now. I'm too old for that. But imagine burning your inner thighs and you're like, can't ride.
Can't sit, can't walk.
My thighs are burned.
Can't do anything pretty much.
Oh my God.
All right, that one wins the week for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
done.
going to get the
out.
tiny
It's ready
violin
to
music
go.
for next week. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow is the third Tuesday. That means it's a quarter horse show for tomorrow. And also Equine Affairs show is later in the week. And I know she got some interviews at Equine Affair in Massachusetts, so you'll be hearing those coming up. And Jamie and I will be here Wednesday and Friday as well. Get your weird news into weirdnews@horseradionetwork.com and get your radio or your really bad ads into Jennifer@horseradionetwork.com. Got too much radiothon on the brain. And hold on for the post show because the auditors are going to be chiming in there too, and we're going to see what they have to say. I didn't even read the answers yet, so hold on for that.
Baby girl. Put some sunscreen on.
I guess using sunscreen at the tanning salon would defeat the purpose, wouldn't it?
I mean, it might help.